Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. Today, we're going to be continuing our 4-part series on the 4 core pillars of simple, sustainable scaling. In the first part of the series, we looked at what it takes to build out your lean dream team. And in today's episode, we're going to dive into the systems that it will really take to be able to scale your business and to remove yourself from everything being dependent on you. In our next 2 sessions that are going to round out this series, we're going to look at strategy and planning, because combined, strategy, planning, systems, and team are really what it takes to have a simple, sustainable, and scalable business. And that's so much of what I am just so passionate about helping businesses do. I see so many people make things so much harder than they need to be. They work so much more than they need to. So I hope this series helps you see how you can scale your business in a simple, sustainable way, leveraging strategy, planning, systems, and team. And for those of you who would like to work with me and the Lean Out Method team and partner together, as I shared in the last episode, we have a special edition of our Simplify to Scale Ops Academy that is kicking off on September 13th. And I would absolutely love to spend the 12 weeks together with you to deep dive into your business and put the critical foundation in place for simple, sustainable scaling. So if you head over to leanoutmethod.com/scale, you can find all the details. And if you have questions, just put time on my calendar or put time on Jessica's calendar for my team, and let's chat and see if it ends up being a great fit for you right now. You can do that at scalingstrategycall.com. But let's dive right into the systems that your business needs to scale sustainably. Now, when you hear the word systems, what do you think? A lot of people tend to think of SOPs. They tend to think of detailed documents with a lot of steps and a lot of screenshots and multiple documents for every single thing that you do in your business. And while that is a component of your systems, systems are actually much bigger than that. They're actually much more impactful than that. And so what I want to break down today are the different layers of systems. Just as there were 4 layers to building out your lean dream team, there's actually multiple layers to systems. And a lot of times people start at the SOP level, and they're actually missing an opportunity to really streamline things in their business, to really look at how each of the individual things that they do in their business interconnect in a way that will really help to accelerate results. So we're going to dive into each of the layers of systems. But first, I want to paint a picture of what it would be like if you had systems in your business. Because as the visionary leader, as the CEO of your business, systems might not excite you. For me and my team, we are all about systems, but I understand for a lot of people, they're not. And if systems are not something that gets you to jump out of bed in the morning, there is a lot of reason why you want them in your business and why I believe they are absolutely critical when you want to scale. I don't believe that you can scale your business in a sustainable way without strategy, planning, systems, and team. And systems is an absolute critical piece of that. If you've ever joined me for one of my Simplify to Scale workshops, you know I go through and talk about you have to simplify first, then you systematize, then you scale, and you do it in that order. You don't want to systematize something that you don't need to be doing, which is why you simplify first. But once you know what's important in your business, once you know what results you want to repeat in your business, once you know what an exceptional client experience looks like in your business, once you know how to deliver your offer to get great results, how to host your conversion event so you get great conversions, once you know how to do these things in your business, you want to systematize them so that you can scale in a way that is not full of noise, full of complexity, and full of risk. So here's what systems give you, and here's why systems should excite you, even if the idea of creating them may not. So systems help you consistently improve your business results, your client impact, your client retention, and they have a really big impact on your profitability. It makes it so that you can actually delegate. Not only delegate more, but delegate more effectively so you can have confidence that the things that you're no longer doing or the things you're no longer checking in on or making every decision on is going to get done and is going to get done really well. Systems are what let you take time off. Systems are what let you check out of your business and actually be fully present, doing the things that you want to be doing outside of work. Now, you have to combine this with team in a lot of cases. Systems help you be way more productive, way more efficient, way more effective, and you can get more done in less time. Systems help you minimize rework, minimize waste, make sure that you're not making mistakes, and ultimately they let you repeat your results. So as I said, you want to look at what's working in your business, you want to look at what's working really well, and you want to systematize that so that you can repeat those positive results over and over and over again, whether it's something internal for your team that helps the business run operationally efficient, or whether it's something external that's customer facing where you can have confidence that they are going to have that exceptional client experience that you want them to have so that they get the results they want, they retain and stick with you, and that they refer you to other people and become an advocate of the brand. Now, there's so many different benefits to systems. I could go on, but the last one that I want to share is often overlooked and super important. And that is that systems build assets in your business. And assets increase the value of your business. Now, whether you ever want to sell your business or not, you want a business that has options. You want a business that's highly valuable, where everything is not trapped in your head and only in your head or with a couple key members of your team. You want something where you have assets that have value in and of themselves that would be attractive for partnerships, for buyers, for being able to leave your business to your family or your team or whatever that legacy looks like for you. Systems give you assets, which give you options. And I think especially in today's climate, in today's economy, having options gives you peace of mind. And having that peace of mind is really, truly invaluable in business. Systems do a lot of the work for you, and they enable you to work smarter, not harder, which is really what it's all about. But that being said, a lot of times the idea of implementing systems does not excite you, or you're a little hesitant to do so because you might have had a bad experience or seen other people do it. And some of the common things that I see is somebody who's tried to implement systems before. Maybe they spent months documenting them. They pulled themselves and their team off of critical other work, and nobody ended up really using them. They end up just collecting digital dust, and you kind of feel like, why did I bother doing this? Or maybe you're resisting doing them because you feel like it's going to be too restrictive and it's going to take away your ability to be creative and to innovate. A lot of times those are concerns that people have with planning as well, which is why with our lean strategic planning system, we make it intentionally very adaptive and have that space for innovation. And when you look at your systems, there's ways to do the same. Or sometimes the idea of creating systems just feels so overwhelming because you don't know where to start. You're not quite sure exactly what to document. You don't know what technology to use or what tools to use or where to store things. And there's a lot of misconceptions about systems, a lot of bad advice, and it leads people to overcomplicate things and create something that doesn't end up being as valuable as they could be. I am all about simplification, so let's simplify your approach to systems so that you actually have massive impact for the time and the energy and the financial resources that you commit to systematizing your business. So when it comes to developing systems, just like with your Lean Dream Team system that had 4 different layers, I see 4 different layers of systems as well. And where most people tend to think of their SOPs and detailed step-by-step documents with screenshots and instructions and links and all the things, that's actually the 4th level. That's the lowest level of system. Those are technically your processes, your standard operating procedures, but the terms usually get interchanged with systems, even though they're technically something different. I consider that the 4th level of systems, but there's actually 3 levels above that, starting with your strategic systems, followed by your summary systems, then your subsystems, and then finally are those detailed systems and SOPs. Each one of those levels has a different level of granularity associated with it and a different level of visualization associated with it. When you're looking at your strategic systems, it's highly visual. Your strategic systems show the flow and interconnectivity of the core elements of things that you do in your business and how you provide value to your clients and to the business. It really gets into why you do what you do and how all the major pieces fit together and provide the results that you're looking for in alignment with your vision and values. So strategic systems by nature are strategic. If you were to align this with the 4 layers of the Lean Dream Team that we talked about in the first part of this series, it really aligns to that strategy layer. This is the decisions, the strategies, the things that you're going to do to bring your vision to life. This is not a how-to, this is not a step-by-step or an instructional layer of systems. This is really about why you're doing what you're doing and how everything interconnects together. From there, that's going to break down into your summary systems, or sometimes what I'll call a macro system. It's very high level. If you align it to the 4 layers of the Lean Dream Team, this is aligned to your strategic execution layer. So this is taking each of the elements within your strategic systems and looking at what are the stages or the major activities that would need to be done to bring that to life. And I'm going to give you an example. If in your strategic system for scale, one of the things that you have as part of your system is hosting your own podcast. Maybe that's one of the ways that you generate leads in your business. Well, in a strategic system for scale, that might be one small box in your visual flow. But as you could imagine, there's a lot of steps, a lot of pieces that go into producing and hosting your own podcast. So if we take that example and we break that down into next a summary system or a macro system, what that might look like are the major stages to producing a podcast. So for me, how I have them broken down in Lean Out Method in our summary system is it's prepping for the interview, conducting the interview, processing the interview, producing the podcast episode, publishing the episode, and promoting the episode. So we have 6 stages, if you will. So at a high level, this is the summary system. Now, what I really like about this is somebody who's coming in, maybe that doesn't really touch the podcast in the business, or they might have something that they do related to the podcast, but what they don't need is a detailed SOP with screenshots and every step of every single thing related to the podcast. For them, this is a great visual indicator, a great summary of what goes into creating and publishing a podcast episode. And that's really all that you would need for a summary system. This is really focused on what you're doing at a high level. Now, just like strategic systems, summary systems can often have a visual element to it. When you start to get down into your subsystems and your detailed systems and SOP, this is where it gets into more of the documentation. This is where it gets into more of the detail and more of the how-to. So if the summary system is those 6 major stages, an example of the subsystem is then breaking that down further and starting to get into some of the specifics about where things get done and who does what. So if we take the example of publishing the episode, there's really 3 core subsystems underneath that. We publish it to Libsyn, we publish it to YouTube, and we publish it to our website and blog. When documenting these, we'll frequently combine the summary systems and subsystems together, where the summary systems will visually show those major components, and then the subsystems takes it one step further and starts to look at each of the major components underneath it, who does what roles accountable, and what tools, what technology we use for that particular activity. And then finally, the final layer, and this is what a lot of people tend to think of when they hear the word system, are those detailed systems, processes, SOPs. And this is, for example, if we keep going with the publishing, we need to upload the episode to Libsyn. There would be a screenshot on where to do that and how to do that and who would log in and how they would access it. We need to add the episode title, the description, the details, the artwork. And there's going to be specifications around all of that. So what type of details do we add? What type of description do we add? How do we structure the description? What links do we include? How long is the description? How do we do a description different for a solo episode versus an interview? How do we structure our title? How long should the title be? Do we include the episode number in the title or not? All of these different things are going to be included in the detailed systems and SOPs. Then we would schedule the episode. So as you can see, it's a progression, right? Your strategic system, high level visual depiction, really looks at the strategies of how you're going to bring your vision to life and deliver value for your customers in an easy to understand visual flow that shows the interconnectivity of the really high level parts and pieces. Then your summary systems takes each individual component of your strategic system and it breaks it down into the high level pieces and stages, like the example I gave for producing the podcast with those 6 stages included in it. Then that breaks down into your subsystems, where you start to get more granular and look at the what, the where, and the who. And then finally, your detailed systems and SOPs. And this is where you have it all. You've got the who, what, when, where, and how to in detail with step-by-step with screenshots. And that aligns to the execution layer of the Lean Dream Team. You don't need all 4 levels for every single thing that you do in your business. I have a framework that I use with all of our clients called the 180-20 system framework. And this really helps you understand which level of granularity you need to go to with a system, as well as which systems are actually your most important ones to be documenting and working on next in your business. You do not need to, nor should you, go and document every single thing that you do. Over time, you may get there, but it is absolutely not where you want to start. What you don't want is a big 6-month project where you take yourself and your entire team off of those profit-producing activities and off of the strategic and innovation work in your business and do nothing but document SOPs and do nothing but document these detailed systems that realistically may not ever really get used or add value if you're not doing it in the context of the strategic systems and really understanding what you need based on who's on your team and who your next strategic hires are, because this really integrates really tightly with the Lean Dream Team as well. And it fits in with your lean strategic planning practices. So where do you start and what do you do? One of the very first most important strategic systems that I think is beneficial to implement in your business is the Lean Strategic Planning Framework, or if you already have a strategic planning framework that you're using, to really make sure that you have that in place first. That's where we start inside the Simplify to Scale Ops Academy program, and that's the same place that we start when we do our done-for-you implementation of our lean business scaling system. Then you want to define your other strategic systems for scale. The next strategic system that is really valuable to focus on is your end-to-end sales and marketing system. Once you have your strategic systems defined, at that point, based on your team, your strategic hiring plan, what's next, and where you have the biggest opportunity in the business, that's going to help you understand where to then take your systems to those next levels. And it will also help you understand which ones you need to actually take to level 4 and do the detailed systems and SOPs. Detailed systems and SOPs are incredibly valuable. They are super helpful when you want to delegate, when you want to make sure things are done with high quality, but they aren't necessary for absolutely everything. And when you create it, you need to actually maintain it, make sure that it's used and optimize it over time. So you want to be really intentional with what you're creating and what you're investing your resources in, because again, it's not a one and done. Once it's done, it's something that then needs to become part of the company DNA and something that gets used and optimized over time. This is where the 180-20 framework comes in to make it really simple to understand what you need, when you need it, and to what level of detail you should be documenting it based on who's going to be doing it and what level of delegation is required. To make it as simple as possible, you always want to look for results that you want to repeat. So if you have something in your business that you would like to delegate to someone else, whether it's something to get off your plate or whether it's something that someone else on your team wants to transition to someone else, look for those things that are already working really well, where you want to be able to get repeat results from them. It's something that when systematized can be transitioned or delegated to somebody else, and start there. Don't try to document all the things. Document the most important things first and keep things simple. At the end of the day, the systems give you structure. They're what give you freedom. They're what give you flexibility. They're what give you consistent, positive, repeat results. They're what give you time back in your day and what give you autonomy in your business. When you combine them with your Lean Dream Team, this is how you have a self-run, self-scaling company that is not dependent on you. When you integrate them together holistically with strategy, planning, systems, and team, and have the right insights in place, so you're looking at what's working, you're making changes, and you have an entire ecosystem for success and scale in your business, that's how you get results as quickly as possible. That's how you have a sustainably successful business that can really weather whatever gets thrown your way. In the next 2 parts of this 4-part series, we're going to dive into strategy and planning and round it all out. All of these things are what we do with you inside our Simplify to Scale Ops Academy program. Again, if you'd like to learn more about that, if you'd like to join us for our special live cohort that's kicking off in September, you can find all the details at leanoutmethod.com/scale. or put some time on my calendar at leanoutmethod.com/consult to see if it's a great fit for you right now, or to chat about if you'd rather have us implement this for you in your business, which we do as part of our done for you scaling system implementation. I hope you got a ton of value out of this episode. I will see you again next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. I hope you got a lot of value and actionable insights from today's show, and would love if you take a moment to leave us a review. If you have any questions on today's episode or on how to lean out your business, join us over in our private Facebook community, where every week we do live training and Q&A, and I'd love to have you be part of the conversation. Head to leanoutmethod.com/group to join us. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the show so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. We'll see you next week.